So today we are canning both tomato juice and pizza sauce, and I thought I would show you guys how we do it. My mom is coming to help, which is so nice, and I'm right now out in the garden getting onions for the pizza sauce recipe. And stay tuned to the end because I'm going to be showing you a little hack that we do that requires no canning whatsoever, but we actually can it. Oh, I'm just so in love with these sunflowers, and here's one hanging over the path. I have to do this every year. They're so cheerful, and the bees definitely love them.
Hello.
Dirty onions, huh?
A big one. A big one.
That is a big one. Okay, give it to Mom. What? Is Grandma here?
Oh, Grandma!
Grandma's here! Boy, you're a blessing. You won't believe what my mom did. She spoils me rotten. She came in, she was picking up the tomatoes for me. Here she went and washed them all and cut them before she got here. Well, she said it didn't take her long, but still, that's a big process. So we're ready to start right away. And look at these tomatoes.
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 Look at tomatoes.
Cut tomatoes, yeah. So we are starting off with tomato juice. And all you have to do is cook the tomatoes. And a trick is to make sure that you're always stirring the bottom so they don't get burnt, because they burn very easily. And once they are a mush, then we'll go on and strain them. So the tomatoes are almost finished already. It didn't take long at all. You have to make sure they're really soft so they go through a strainer. And here is my strainer. I'll have links below to strainers. You definitely need that so that you can strain the juice out of the tomatoes. So the tomatoes go in here, and you just crank this and it strains them out. The peelings and tomato part seeds come out here, and then the juice is going to go into the bowl. Another thing I like to do is all this tomato waste, run it through one more time because there's still a lot of juice in there.
Oh, Mom.
You stay back, it's really hot. Okay, so just watch. See, Mom turns it and it goes squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Pretty cool, huh?
More.
Do you like it? What's Grandma doing? So the tomato juice is finished straining, and now how we can, instead of doing a water bath, we put the jars in the oven, then we put the sauce back on the oven to make sure it's nice and hot, and then also we put the lids in boiling water so that they're nice and hot. I'll just turn it back. It doesn't need to be boiling, it just needs to be nice and hot. And then once the juice is nice and hot, you just pour it into the warm jars, put the warm hot lids on, screw on your cap or your lid, whatever, and then they should start sealing on their own. So that's how we do it. It's much faster, and I think it works pretty well. Alright, so I'm working on pizza sauce. The next step you have to do while the tomatoes are cooking is run your onions and garlic through a blender. Now, some blenders don't do as good of a job. I have a Ninja, which I absolutely love, never regretted buying it. It does such a good job. So if you're interested, I have links below. We're gonna put these onions and some cloves of garlic into the blender and blend it up. And then after that, we run that through the strainer before we add it to the tomatoes. Okay, this is how much the blender mushed up the onions and garlic. Now we still have to run this through the strainer though. So I messed up on my directions a little bit. I was supposed to add blended onions and garlic to the tomatoes and let it cook with them. Or you can also just cut up the onions and garlic and add it to the tomatoes while they're getting soft, so everything gets soft. So I'm gonna add some and then run it through the strainer so that the onions are softer. I'm doing 2 batches of pizza sauce. I have 1 batch here, just the tomato and the onion. That is going to simmer for an hour. Once again, remember, if you're doing this and following my recipe, you should throw the onions and the garlic in with the tomatoes while they're getting soft, and then run everything through the strainer. I messed up on that and didn't do that step. And after that's complete, you take the sauce and do what I'm doing right now, put it back in and simmer it for an hour. The pizza sauce recipe calls for 48 ounces of tomato paste. So that is boiling. It's still gonna be a while till it's ready for the next step, but I'm going to start taking all the paste out of the jars. So the next step to the pizza sauce is adding all the rest of the ingredients. I already put the tomato paste in this container just to save some time, and I still have 37 minutes left for the sauce to boil. So just to save some time, I'm going to put the remaining ingredients in here, and then when that is finished simmering, I'll add all of the ingredients that are in my container. It'll just save a lot of time, and then I have to simmer it for another hour. We need 2 cups of sugar, 1 cup of oil. I'm just using olive oil. Half a cup of salt. We need 6 bay leaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have the tomato paste in here ready, which is 48 ounces. Then we need 4 tablespoons of oregano. And the same with parsley flakes. This is 4 tablespoons of parsley flakes. Alright, I have all the ingredients ready. As soon as that's finished, we'll dump it in. Alright, this has been on for an hour now. So, we're gonna dump this in.
Mommy.
What? Alright, so now I'm going to set this to an hour so that this can simmer another hour.
1 hour later.
And then the last step, after everything is finished cooking, is putting it in the jars like we did the first time. Hot jars from the oven. We had the oven turned to around 260. We thought probably between 250, 275 is fine. And then get the rings out that are in hot water and just pour in the hot sauce. And they are popping. I think we got like 56 or 58 pints of pizza sauce, which I did 2 batches. And then we got like around 20 pints of tomato juice. So that feels great. Anyway, so one other quick tip. If you have your own garden, you probably know this maybe or not, I don't know. But if you're really busy doing all kinds of things in the summer like we often are, you can easily freeze tomatoes if you're doing a sauce like this. So I did this when I had tomatoes in my garden and they were just slowly getting ready. I would just wash them and throw them in the freezer. And then when you had enough tomatoes, you could go ahead and do a batch like this because you basically just cook them down to a mush anyway, so it doesn't matter. If you're new here, we'd love to have you subscribe. I'm a Mennonite mom that makes various videos pertaining to stay-at-home mom stuff, stay-at-home mom life, lifestyle videos. So we'd love to have you come along, and hope you all have a lovely and blessed day. Bye.